Hiya, it's only me. Welcome back to the latest episode from me, Miss Brightside, and the Power of Positivity podcast. This week, I'm covering off everything from being dyslexic, regret, and, if you hang on right till the end, what's your zombie apocalypse plan? Let's get into it. Just a reminder before we get into things, to follow me on Instagram, Miss Brightside25, and you'll find a link in my bio to sign up to my emails. But don't worry, I won't spam you. I haven't got that much time to write emails. So, let's get into it. Welcome back. Here we are again. Today, I have successfully not dipped the end of the wires to the microphone in my cup of tea that's right next door to it. So that's a win. So today's episode is all about regret. You will see that you think to yourself, that title that I've put for my podcast this week about why I regret making it, it's all about the negativity. Negative news sells. I can't be the only one. And I'd put my hand up here, I admit to it, I'm all for a clickbait. It's proven that more people will click on a negative title than a positive one. So I've just done this as a trial. Regrets are a really funny thing, and I think we're programmed quite a lot to look back at things. So if I just think for myself, I will overthink so many things I've done in my life, particularly arguments. As you will know, listening to my last podcast, if you listened well, I am a very different person to what I was then, but I still will argue with people. Nobody's perfect, as my family will tell you. And my brother seems to be number one at still being able to wind me up even though I'm 37. I think it's just his gift in life to wind up the younger sibling. But regret. I think we often look back at things and think, I wish I hadn't done that. Or I wish I had. Most of the time, if we're all honest with ourselves, it's more I wish I hadn't stayed with that boyfriend. I wish I hadn't stayed in that job so long. When you look back with regret, it's a really easy and common thing to do. But I've realised quite recently in myself, when I look back and reflect, if you spend way too much time looking back, you're not taking on the opportunities that you've got available to you. There's nothing wrong with going back and learning from the mistakes you made, because that makes us who we are. Like you've already heard, I went to my first ever job, my first ever proper job, and I hated every second of it. But without that, I wouldn't be where I am today and loving my job that I do now. I would have never appreciated that beautiful, amazing gang that I joined in that company who just made me feel so welcome. I think our brains are like programmed to look back and think, oh, if I'd only done that, I wish I'd bought that bit of land, or, let's be honest, I wish I'd bought that Bitcoin. Don't we all wish that? We'd all be millionaires. But because our brain is trained to think back and look at bad things, we forget to look forward. So like with this podcast now, I'm really early on. I've got some amazing friends around me who are really supporting me. But I'm really nervous, like really apprehensive how this is going to go. Worried about if people are going to listen, worried about if people don't, am I going to be a millionaire? Am I just going to be able to afford to do this? But I quite enjoy it, and for me this is all about being a hobby. Don't get me wrong, if I was a millionaire too, that would be amazing. But in all seriousness, don't we all want to retire. I say it at least once a week, I'm ready to retire now. As much as I love my job. If it all works out, brilliant. If it doesn't, I can look back and say, do you know what? I tried. And I'd much rather say I tried than I didn't do it at all. I didn't take the risk, because I heard somebody say recently, but time always moves on, whether you wait or not. I found that quite interesting, because you think, well, that course takes 3 years to do, for example, or it's going to take me 3 years to save for that car, or whatever it is. Yeah, but time's passing anyway. How you choose to use your time is most important. And hindsight as an adult is another thing. You can look back and think, I wish I'd known that sooner. Don't we all, with certain things we did? But I quite regularly look back and think to myself, oh, I wish I wasn't as negative as I was. It is something I think about. And I wish I had done something slightly differently. But I try my absolute best not to regret it. There's nothing wrong with thinking, I could have learned a little bit more from doing something a little bit differently. But by looking back, it stops me looking forward. And something I quite recently thought of, which I hopefully will get some people to do when they join me on my lovely sofa here, is, so this is a question for you now, what piece of advice would you give your 10-year-old self? That's quite poignant. It makes you think, and this isn't about regret, it's about reflection. Because you can use that then to fuel the next few years of your life. So if I had to go back and tell 10-year-old Lisa, the first thing I would say to her is, if I could write her a letter, I would say, believe in yourself. Your dyslexia won't define you. I went through quite a turmoil with reading and writing, and I found it really, really tough. And quite recently, my mum dug out of the attic old school reports. And what I found really mad looking back was, I absolutely grafted, especially in my GCSE year and in my A-level year. I'd really tried my hardest. But looking back at some of my reports, I'm like, wow, these are a lot different to what I thought the reality was. Lots of them say Lisa really struggles with reading. And my favourite thing in every single one is, and this is the honest truth from my year 1 school report right up to year 13 is, Lisa gets easily distracted by chatting. And this is my sign to you to say, guess what I do for a job now? I talk to people pretty much all day. So my point is, that is my superpower. That is my strength. And to those teachers that told me I talk too much, look what I'm doing now. I'm talking on a podcast, baby. So put it on in your pipe and smoke it. Looking back, it's really tough sometimes because I was diagnosed with dyslexia at 18 and I had struggled for so long on teaching myself new ways of doing things, new ways of spelling to try and get around things. And it wasn't until a teacher in my A-level class said to me, Lisa, do you think you might be dyslexic? And I was like, Miss, I have had a test multiple times and they said I've got dyslexic tendencies. And she was like, Lisa, I really think you'd benefit from getting assessed. And thankfully, she spotted it and she pushed me because I was. And it gave me some actual answers to why I struggle so much my whole entire education. For most people, it come to them really easily. The only way I can describe it to any of you that's listening is, I don't even know if telly still do it. You used to turn the telly on and it used to be like a frosty white screen with black speckles on it, or like a big fog. That's what my brain is like when I'm trying to put numbers together. Some people can see numbers, some people can just do it. But for me, my brain is just full of fuzziness. And after a really long time of thinking about it, I could start to see through the fuzziness and start to work out what I'm thinking about. But my brain is so not just designed for that. My strength is I have the most vivid imagination. I dream the most vivid dreams, and I also have the scariest nightmares. Zombie apocalypse. Oh my God, terrified. Still think about zombie apocalypses as an adult, and I always think to myself, well, I wasn't far off with COVID-19. Where it was a virus. My prediction was there's going to be a virus. Not in my lifetime, but and zombies were going to eat me. I don't think I survive in a zombie apocalypse very long. I have got a zombie apocalypse plan. You've got to try and work out how do you get petrol, who's got the tins of food, where are we going to go? If you live in South Wales, you've got to go to Brecon. It's the most vivid space. You can see zombies coming for miles. But you've got to have somewhere to hunker down. I haven't quite thought that through. If you've got any ideas how to survive a zombie apocalypse, let me know. Sorry, I've gone on a tangent yet again about zombies. But I think when you look back and you look at, your regrets, and like I said, if I was speaking to 10-year-old Lisa now, I would say try and be a little less angry with everybody. Your best friend will be your bestie forever. So wise up and be nice to her. We have got some wonderful memories. And when you become a teenager, stop shouting at your mother because she's absolutely amazing. I think that's what's mad with hindsight, is when you look back and you think, oh my God, I wish I hadn't said that to my mum. I was a really good kid, but my attitude was, terrible. And I'd say that would be a regret of mine. It's not a usual regret. But I can't change that now. I can't look back and I can't go back in time and change my past. So what I choose to do now is, whatever possible, be nice to my mum, innit? No, appreciate the people around me. Remember that no one will tell me I can't do something. I will put my mind to anything and I will achieve what I want. And I will find the love of reading. It's just you need an audiobook and a Kindle together. So now you've got that bit of advice you'd give your younger self. Use that to power yourself forward. Instead of regretting it, use it as a powerful tool for your future. So I can't go back and change how I wasn't very nice to my mum. And I can't go back and change that it took so long to be diagnosed as dyslexic. But I now have the opportunity to read more books than I ever have. I now have the opportunity to spend time with people I love. So I'm going to. So that's enough from me as usual. Chatted on. And as Oasis would say, don't look back in anger. Look forward. Focus on things you can do with your life, not the things you can't do. You are amazing. Have an absolutely amazing week. Thanks for listening. If you've liked what you've listened to, do you fancy giving me a cheeky review on Podchaser? Or if there's something you'd like me to discuss, just write a comment under one of my posts on Instagram. Just to finish up, remember, see the positives even in the little things. Have an absolutely amazing week. Chat soon.